أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. So today, inshallah, we are doing an interview with Zainab Dutta. So Zainab is a close friend of mine. Mashallah, we have been friends for about 2 years, and she reverted to Islam from Hinduism. So today I have invited Zainab, and Zainab is feeling a little bit sick these days. So we are not doing the video, but inshallah we'll be doing her audio. So, okay, Zainab, so welcome to the program and tell us about yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. Well, I'm Zainab Dutta and I have a Hindu name which is Rita Chatterjee. And if you find out, the last name Chatterjee in India comes from a very conservative, strict Hindu Brahmin family. So I come from that kind of a family and of grandparents and parents and aunts who has always shown me to idol worship and worship in their way. I mean, there's a lot of rules, there is a lot to follow in in the Hindu religion. You dip yourself in the holy waters, and you do this in the early morning, you wake up. So those kind of that kind of a background is where I come from, where we've only learned to do this. And it's almost like 365 days. I think we mostly 200 days of those are spent in just doing stuff like this. You come back from school, this is what we did. So I was totally raised with that kind of a background.
Subhanallah.
And when I was growing up, a lot of my father was from Lucknow, which is a part of India where if you find out, if you really browse, you will come to know that Lucknow is a city which is 70% Muslim population. And my father grew up among them, and so he grew up with Islam. So my grandfather, when he died, he was carried on the shoulders of his Muslim friends to be cremated. I don't even know why he was cremated, because the way everything was, we had biryani cooked on his, at his shraddh. That's what it's called when the death ceremonies in India. So that's all that was, is all that I have seen as I grew up. And there was a lot of, my father spoke Urdu like 100%, like you wouldn't even know he's Hindu.
Oh,
So,
really? Okay.
yes, it was, I mean, if he would turn around and speak, you wouldn't know he was a Hindu man.
I mean, are there
And
differences? Were there differences, or this it's just similar language?
no, it's differences because we spoke Bengali, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Hindi, which has nothing much to do with Urdu. And
Mm-hmm.
he spoke Khas Urdu.
Oh,
So when
mashallah, mashallah.
and and that's why, and not only him, all my uncles, my aunts, my bua,
Mm-hmm.
Poopi is what you call, right?
Mm-hmm.
My bua and my uncles, my paternal side, everyone spoke Urdu. My father spoke the best, of course, being the eldest son. And so he had friends who came from Peshawar, from Afghanistan. He had one or two friends. So sometimes they would come visit, and I have seen them.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a colonel from the military, Pakistani military, and his name was Siddiq uncle, I remember, and Sophia auntie. So they used to come over to our house, and she would, I would watch her doing the wuzu and watch her
Oh,
pray.
subhanallah.
So when,
How
yes,
old were
and
you? How old were you
I
then?
was I was 6, 7 years old,
Oh, mashallah.
and I would run around them. And from that little age, as I grew up, I those are distinct in my eyes, in my memory. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't forgotten those things, and somehow those things attracted me more. Instead of going sitting in the temple with my mother as she arranged the flowers to put in front of the idols and all that,
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't. It didn't attract me. I
Mm-hmm.
would, she would scold me, call me. I would go around, auntie, she was be in the other room doing all this, and they'll get ready to eat together. And
Mm-hmm.
so there was a lot of togetherness. It's like they never felt that anything was different,
Mm-hmm.
but they had two different religions working in that same place.
Mm-hmm.
So I was often very confused, because I always ask my mother, why do you put what so much milk on an idol? when that milk could be just drunk, and stuff like that. And I got scolded. I often got slapped in the face for
Oh,
talking like that. And it was a lot of tough times for me.
mm-hmm.
But in all this, something pulled me to go sit with Aunt Sophie, and while she prayed, and she wouldn't dare tell me, sit and pray with me
Mm-hmm.
because my parents were there. But I would just go sit and kneel down like her. And every time
Wow.
I couldn't pray, but Anila, I would bend and up and keep doing the salah with her. And, as I grew up and I came to be 13, 14, then I wanted to cover my hair. When that time auntie was getting older, when she would come, I would question her, like, can I wear like, the hijab like you? Can I cover my head? Can I do this? So my they mentioned it to my dad because they knew it was easier to mention it to my dad than my mom, because mom was a staunch Hindu.
Mm-hmm.
So, even the mention of beef in her house was like terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, they spoke to my father and they said that, she shows signs of not being where she is.
Mm-hmm.
I know we don't have the right to, she's the only daughter,
Mm-hmm.
but think about it, because it looks like she's going to suffer as she gets older. She'll understand more, and then there will be this religious strife, and then she's going to be in the middle of it all.
Mm-hmm.
So decide now what you want to do with her.
Oh, that is very interesting. So this couple, they talked to your father about it because you were
Y-
showing
y-
interest in
yes.
Islam. Okay.
Yes, I was interested in everything, Anila, they did.
Yeah.
Everything they did. Their prayers, mostly the way they prayed,
Mm-hmm.
mostly because to me, I understood that Allah is one God. Allah is God.
Mm-hmm.
That was easier for me to understand than the several gods in a line of idols, and I couldn't understand. For me, which the same signs were showed by my son too. As he started growing up, his father was forcing him.
Mm-hmm.
He was showing the same signs. He's like, why would I pray? So he finally, this was what he said is, I don't believe in God, because he couldn't understand. He didn't know what to believe. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, then I don't believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, you see, he also reverted. He also came into this. It was like my prayers to Allah
Mm-hmm.
to make my son get what he needs and he should get. And
Yes.
he should get Islam. And he got it. And now I want to talk to several other Hindus who are trying to come into this. Because you know what I understand mostly is um, Islam for me is more simpler to to make me feel closer to God.
Mm-hmm.
And I have suffered, you know how much I've suffered health wise.
Mm-hmm.
So, I got more strength from Islam. I don't, I feel out of place if I'm taken to a temple. Sometimes now my husband still will force me, come, what's the point? You can just go. But I just don't feel comfortable anymore. I feel like I'm out of place here. I don't want to be here.
Zainab,
So,
so let me introduce to the viewers that Zainab's son also reverted to Islam, and Zainab's husband hasn't, but their son also reverted to Islam. So Zainab, so you talk a little bit about your childhood, and you talked a little bit about your environment. So tell us about your faith growing up. You mentioned that you had interactions with Islam and Muslims.
mhm.
How did these interactions shape you while growing up? I mean, you
Oh,
did mention a little bit, but can you give a little bit more details?
yes. You see the way of clothing that you do,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like I think I appreciate if women are covered. And my mother was a very she was the kind of woman who would teach me, not to show too much body parts. And even though she gave me European education, I at the age of 3 I spoke English perfectly. I grew up with, this Dutch lady who used to come to our house, and I grew up with European people from a convent where I had to attend a mass on Sundays. So there again, as I grew up, I learned a lot of modesty. And when I saw the ladies in the Muslim community come around our house and come covered and so nice. And when it was time, I see them praying 5 times a day. I felt like that was all right. What we were doing was just a lot of show,
Mhm.
a lot of show of color and oh God, God, and all the chanting and all of that, giving out money and putting gold jewelry on the God's head when people don't have food to eat and clothes to wear. So for me, all that was a big difference. And Islam was so simple and so innocent and so how would I put this? Um, I mean, it was it was a place where I felt safe. I felt I felt alive
Mhm.
and close to God, which is very important.
Zainab, this a couple that you talked about, this the city was Lucknow. Is that where you
Yes,
growing?
yes. But Siddiqa uncle used to come to our house in Kolkata.
Oh, okay.
Yes, when we moved to Kolkata,
Mhm.
that's just Calcutta.
Mhm.
Then Siddiq uncle and his wife he was very fond of my father. So every time he got a break from the military, then he would visit. I think his wife was from India
Okay.
and he was from Pakistan.
Oh, okay.
So every time they would, she was Muslim from India.
Mhm.
So she was from Lucknow and he was from Pakistan. So that time, there was other friends also. My dad had other friends also. My dad visited Peshawar. My grandfather visited Peshawar. I don't even know how to, I wish you had seen them to understand what I'm trying to tell you is in our house, if you enter the house, you would be so confused as to are the men all Muslim here and the women Hindus? It's like it was like that. The atmosphere was so different. I never saw my father you know do all these colorful way of stuff. My mother did. He would just stand there, pay for the stuff, and that's it.
Mhm.
So it was a confused upbringing, but it as I grew up and I understood, I actually met someone from Pakistan,
Mhm.
and they and their family, he and his wife, Rashid,
Mhm.
Kiran, they're his wife, they're from Swabi. They came across me. I was commenting on stuff about Islam online, and I was asking questions, and even though I was still looking like a Hindu wearing a bindi and like the way we dress with flowers in our hair and bindis and all that, they came across me and they were and Rashid is a man of knowledge. He's a young guy, and he and his wife is a very educated girl. Both of them, she's a software engineer. So
Mhm.
both of them kind of noticed me, and they understood that I needed help. So they asked me outright that do you want uh, do you have any interest to reverting to Islam? This direct question right away they asked me. So then I said, I would like to speak to you. So then one day they came on Skype and we spoke, and I cried a lot because I was trying to explain to them that I'm lost. I feel very lost. I don't know how to get out of this whole thing and come where I want to come.
Mhm.
So then they started teaching me little by little about the Quran, and they went very slow because it was difficult for me to understand. Especially, I wasn't that great in Urdu. I understood Urdu, but I didn't speak that well. I didn't speak Arabic, so they had to go little by little. I couldn't understand most of the prayers, the duas. I couldn't understand, so they would explain things to me. They took hours every day, and I used to do this when my husband wasn't home. They would call me just then, so that because he had different ideas. He's like, okay, people are trying to convert you online and you're being stupid and you're getting converted, and this will happen to you and that'll happen to you. But I just didn't see anything. I'm very determined in many ways. So I said, no, Allah's pulling me. I could feel He's pulling me towards Himself, and I needed to get out now. I've done this for so many years as a child, and I cannot do this anymore. So then I started to talk to them, and they made me basically, how would I put it? They went to the masjid one day, even though Rashid kept telling me that women in our community don't need to go to the masjid. You can if you want to revert, we can make all the arrangements for you from here, and you can do the shahada from where you are. So I could understand. For me, Anila, it was like, how could that be? I mean, if I've seen people have to go to the temple or to the church to get baptized or do stuff. So how does this work? How do I just say these few words, and I'm Allah's, and I'm with Allah. So they said, it trust us, and you repeat. So they did this audio thing, with the masjid, and I did the shahada, and they were both there. I'm so grateful to this family forever, forever. I told them till the day I die, I will never forget them. And I've been the sickest in the hospital, and I have called them even from the hospital. I didn't even talk to my mom. I didn't talk to nobody. I wanted to only talk to them. I was so attached to this family, like as if they were my own. And they taught me how to do the daily prayers, the Salah, and they taught me about the five things that's in Islam, right? The zakat, all these things I've learned from them. Yeah.
So, who is Zainab Dutta? Zainab, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I live in the United States in New Jersey. I lived for a long time in New York. Now I moved to New Jersey, and I have worked as a nutritionist, and I had also worked little bits as a voluntary teacher in several schools, and uh, I love reading about religion. I love writing about people. Yes, I grew up in Kolkata, a small city in India, and in a Brahmin family, very strict, staunch Brahmin family, where all I have ever learned is to do rituals and how to carry out idol worship.
What are some of those rituals that you guys did, like growing up, the Hindu rituals?
Oh, well, we started our day in the morning. We started our day in chanting from the Gita, which is the holy book of the Hindus. And then before we go to school, we had all the chantings over. And then we would get the bindis, those little tikas that they put chandan, they put it on the forehead of all the children going to school. And then, the parents keep prasad at the door as we leave. We have given little bits of sweet prasad, and that's assumed to be eaten by God and then passed on to us. And most of the time, trust me, as I grew up, I turned 10, 9, 10. It started to not make sense to me. It's like, why? I mean, because sometimes it's very funny, but I would like to mention that when I'm going to school, suppose I have an exam and I'm praying to God, today I have this paper and I'm really worried and I may not do very well in this paper. I'm not good at it. So please make sure I get high marks, because my parents were very strict about how our results came out and what we did in school and whether we did study well or not, because that's all our life was all about. Go to school, come back from school. We had a dancing teacher in the house who came to teach me dancing, which I'm an all India classical dancer as well.
Oh,
So
subhanallah.
so I've done all of that, and so that is our life. Come home, study, help mommy in the kitchen, and that's just so that we learn. So we go to sasural, you go to your in-laws place, you go knowing stuff. So this is our life. And there was not a lot of getting to go out and stuff. Families came over. There are again rituals in the evening. There was arti, with the lights, and all the idols would be sitting clothed beautifully, and and they had gold and silver stuff on their heads to wear. They had nice thrones to sit on. So for me, I would go to give my exam. I would like to go back there to go to give my exam. I come back. I didn't do good in my exam. So when I'm going to do my exam, I'm eating the prasad, and my mother would say, pray and go that you do well. So I'm praying. So I'm praying to these idols. I'm doing all the things that they're telling me to do, but then I'm not doing good in that paper. So that's where I started to think, Why would I go through all this every day and not get any result at all? It's not like I'm worshiping for result. Like, whoever I worship, I'm not doing it to get a result. But I mean, to me at that age, it was like I slowly started losing faith. My faith was slipping. It's like I did everything, and sometimes I would cheat and not do also. And it just didn't make sense to me. Because it didn't make sense to me, I didn't want to do it. So that's how the Brahmin girl's life is in a family like that. It's, you don't meet a lot of people every day. You just within the family, and so you don't get to understand. No. And in all this, when my father's friends would arrive, they were from different faiths, because my father grew up among different faiths. So for when they came over, then it was a big change for me. And I would be, like, their children were different. It always looked like they were wiser than us. So that's how I slowly got pulled into Islam. And it's amazing that my father had a lot of Muslim friends. Actually, basically mostly, because being in Lucknow, which is the highest population there, is the Muslim population even now. So even now, when I talk to my nephews, nieces, my brothers who are still there, cousin brothers, when I talk to them, they speak very highly of all the Muslims there. Some of them have even married Muslims. So and has not been accepted in the family. That too. It has been hard for them, a hard ride for them too. So I was always very, very scared, very confused. But as I grew up, when I got married, it was another staunch Hindu family I got married into, even worse than what we saw. This was a family where you can not do anything other than worship. And the Gita was read once in our house. There the Gita was read morning and noon.
Oh, wow.
So it was like morning and evening. So it was too much for us. For me, I mean. And I was literally like, I felt like I was in a box closed down. And and then I didn't have children, so I had a hard time there again. And that's when again I went back to my Allah. And I one day, one of my friends from college, I was going to college when I got married. She sneaked me out of college early and took me to the masjid, which was very close to my parents' house. And she said, "You know what? Pray here, and if you pray, you will get a child." And I remember sitting in the masjid and crying hopelessly. And she says, "Call Allah," because she was a Muslim friend, Memona. Her name was Memona too. And I still remember, and she's from Jamshedpur. So she was not from Kolkata. So she would go back every day after college, she would go back to Jamshedpur in the train. So she sat there, but I'm so grateful to her too. She sat there telling me, "Ask Allah, even if you have to say it loud, say Allah, please listen to me, help me." I had no clue. I was not Muslim. I was Hindu, fully through and through. But it just came to me, and I cried and cried and cried to Allah. So even now, after having my son, I always say, Allah, he is your gift to me. I still feel he is the gift that Allah has given me. That kind of, I mean, I don't know how much sense that this kind of belief makes, but that's how
So,
my
so growing up, you had a lot of Muslim influences. You mentioned this couple, Uncle
yes.
Siddiq, and then you had this friend Maimuna in college who brought you to
Yes,
the
yes. I had several other friends also in college,
Mhm.
but Memona was the special one who took me out to help me to, in spite of all the, my family pressure, she helped me to at least see some part of the religion that I was wanting to become a part of. So she was there. My father's friends. There was another friend, burly man, coming all the way from Peshawar. I remember he would come once or twice a year. A big, tall, burly man, and he had a booming voice. And he would come in, and and when he came, I would always like go sit by his feet. So my father used to say, "Why does I was small?" So he would say, and my father would say, "I don't understand why my beti will go and find a place by your feet, huh? क्या किया तुमने मेरा बच्चा को जादू कर दिया ये तो हम लोग का पैर पे आके बैठता नहीं आपके पे." So uncle would pick me up and put it, and he was a big tall man, put me on his knee, and he will sometimes tell me stories.
Yeah.
And the stories were about Abraham.
Mhm.
I remember him mentioning Abraham, and a little things about. So then my father would joke and say, Why are you telling her those stories? You're intending to change my, revert my daughter?" So things like that, happened in the house, and several other little things which, I mean, if I start to mention all of it, it's going to take the whole day.
Zainab, so your dad, he was pretty like he was very open. So he had all these
Yes.
Muslim friends coming in. But then, some person might say, "Oh, you were just being pressured by Muslims." How would you, what would be the argument you would present regarding that? Some people might say, "Oh."
Pressured? No, none of them pressured me.
Mm,
None of them, pushed me towards Islam.
mhm,
It was my attraction. Like I watched the way of prayer. I watched like 5 times prayers.
mhm,
When I grew up, before, as a child I wouldn't understand, but as I grew up, 13, 14, I started to understand. They pray 5 times a day. I would sometimes ask my mom, like, Mom, my mom would say, "Why are you asking me questions like that?" I said, "No, Mom, why don't we pray like that?" How they put their head down. She used to say, because we also do the salah, we also bend and touch our heads to the floor when we reach the temple. So she said, "We also do that." I said, "No, not like that." So she would. So sometimes, she would be telling my father, "Keep her away," because she asks weird questions and stuff like that. I got slapped up many times because of all this. Because I had questions. I was one of those children who questioned a lot, not just about this, anything.
mhm,
Even if I went outside, I went with my parents to some party. If I see something different, I would run to my mother and say, "Why is it like that? Why is it not changed? Why is it looking like that?"
mhm,
Stuff like that. So very curious. So
mhm,
my mother would say, "This curiosity will kill her. This child will suffer in life," and all that. She would go predicting, getting angry.
mhm,
And she was a very strict, tall woman. So I was afraid of her in many ways too. So there. So I can't say, Anila, that I was pressured.
mhm,
I was never pressured into accepting. Many times, Ashok, my husband, asked me,
mhm,
why do you feel why did you become a Muslim? He doesn't still get that I have become a Muslim. He still thinks, how, why? Because he can't understand what I'm feeling.
mhm.
What he can feel too if he wants to, but he just can't understand. I mean, I still have a lot to learn. I don't think I've gone fully into. I'm aging, and I want myself exposed to more, but it's a very complex, the complexity and the sensitivity surrounding
Mhm,
the conversion of this it's a difficult thing.
mhm,
I have converted, but it's difficult. I feel it's very sensitive. It's very, very, it's important that I approach this with respect.
mhm,
I acknowledge the individual nature of the spiritual thing that I feel with Islam.
mhm,
I want to respect that. I just don't want to run into everything, and to go into slowly and make my son understand more. But I think my son has got it way better than me. He's doing, yes, he is doing it better.
mhm,
I feel he's following all the rules, which I see. There's no one to stop him, but for me, I have difficulties. I still have my in-laws around me who are all Hindus.
mhm.
I can't change them, Anila. So sometimes it's tough. I'm expected to attend places, attend rituals where I don't want to be.
Mhm. So
So
Zainab, clarifying, so you got married twice, right? So you were first married to a
mhm.
Hindu man with whom you did not have children, and then you married another Hindu man, and then you had the child, and just kind of clarifying, and your son has also reverted to Islam, but your
Yes,
second husband, he has not, right?
no,
So
no.
just clarifying that. Zainab, tell me about the times like when you were in your teens. You mentioned kind of your childhood, and then you kind of mentioned in your college. But what about like when you were 13, 14? How were the years then? Uh,
Years of in which way? I mean, how I spent it at home, you mean?
like
Very
your
strict.
attraction to Islam, or the teen years.
Yes, I'll tell you, my mother, even though my mother wouldn't have, wouldn't have accepted me converting to Islam. And it's amazing. I should tell you this too. This is another instance. Okay, first let me finish with my 17. I'm getting I want to tell you everything together. The thing is, uh, at the age of 17, 18, I got married. I mean, as soon as I finished my high school, I got married. As I went into college, my father got me married off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't have much uh, to do. I mean, I couldn't. I went to in my sasural. The in-laws were so different from what we were, very closed, very conservative. And in our house, my parents were very conservative. I was not allowed to meet boys. I was not, it's amazing. Our house had a wooden partition, and we were behind. We still have that partition at home. It used to be, we women were supposed to be behind the partition. Because you see, my father grew up with mixed culture. So according to my father, she's not supposed to come out and talk to my brother's friends or my uncle's friends if they came over, or anybody's children. If they're men, my father would make sure we do not come out and talk unless and the girls, if the daughters came with them, they were sent inside to chat with us.
Mm-hmm.
So we had, this was like a parda system. But then there again, we were not, it's usually, we knew that this was prevalent with the Muslim community. The men don't, women don't come out, show their, they're covered and stuff like that. We were kept behind the partition. So I used to tell my mother, so why can't I wear a hijab?
Mm-hmm.
I might as well wear a hijab and come and speak to everyone
Mm-hmm.
than to be sitting in there getting bored.
Mm-hmm.
So there again, I was those ages. I was very I would revolt,
Mm-hmm.
and I got slapped left and right because of that. And there was corporal punishment. That time they didn't, when they'll pull you by your hair and give you once. So that was how it was for me.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you just shut up. You don't understand. You just keep quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like that. So that age was like this. So I was, in many ways, I was I told you, I was a very confused child. I grew up a very confused child.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I once one of my friends were talking to me about about Lord Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
and I found a lot of Abraham, and many things common with Islam and Christianity. And so there again, I was thinking, maybe I should start going to the church, and maybe I should get baptized.
Mm-hmm.
Always confused, because even if I wanted to get out and do things, I was at an age and with people who wouldn't let me, until I came to America.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no one. I mean, there was no one. I this country made me feel free enough to do what I wanted.
Mm-hmm. So Zainab, I have read this that in India there's what they call the love jihad. Like a Hindu girl will fall in love with a Muslim man, and then the people will make it seem like some sort of like a very malicious event where the boy was trying to
Hmm.
ensnare. I, what are your views about it? I mean, I find it's like,
That is
yeah, I don't find it.
that is what I was going to tell you.
Yeah,
I am Yes, that was where I was going to tell you, and I said, let me finish with the
yeah,
17. You see, I have an aunt
yeah.
and maternal side, and her daughter fell in love with this guy called Sajid,
Mm-hmm.
and he was Muslim, and they were in love for a long time, but she was hiding and meeting him and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And she was scared because her the our parents, especially her father, and were very influential people. They're rich and influential, and she had a brother. So she was very scared that they will kill Sajid, or they'll harm him, for wanting to marry her and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So my father was driving one day by and saw her with him. So he stopped. My father was a very temperamental man. If I did the same thing, my father would have probably killed the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he saw her, and he stopped, and he said, and her name was, it's not Memona, but Mamoni, in Bengali.
Mm-hmm.
So she was called Mamoni. So she said Mamoni, and we used to love her as a little child. She was a big favorite of ours. So she said, Mamoni, where are you going? And so she was all flushed and red in the face, and she didn't know what to tell him, and who's this guy and all that. So she just said, yeah, my friend. So he said, he is your friend? What kind of friend? So she says, my friend's brother. And then she said, I have to go, I have to catch the bus and all that. And she was very, very scared. She ran.
Mm-hmm.
And my father came back home and told my mother, I just saw her outside with a guy. And my mother immediately goes and calls my aunt and tells her that your daughter was outside with a guy and they saw her and she ran. She ran away, literally. So then what happens is Mamoni, she calls us in the we never had cell phones then. So she called us in the house phone, and thank Allah, I was the one to pick up that phone. And I went and told my father that, Baba, uh, spare her, because she's very scared and she's crying and howling in the phone. And he said, but I've already told her. She said, yeah, her mother has closed her in the room and didn't give her lunch to eat. And they're after her to find out who the guy is, and she's not telling them anything. So then I talked to her and she told me. So when she told me, I was always a favorite of my dad. So I would go to my dad and tell him everything. Basically, I never hid much from daddy.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and I said, Baba, can I tell you something? She's in love with the guy, Muslim guy, and she's very scared to tell this to her father. And her father will send men to kill him. God knows what they'll do to him. And so, please, let's help her. I'm amazed, Anil. I never thought Allah's listening to me. My father helped. My father helped her. He got her to his house and he brought Sajid to the house, to our house. And then he called her parents. And then they came over. He said, it's not the boy and it's not the religion he's coming from, it's the person
Mm-hmm.
that she's marrying. He's the most important. So, and Sajid was we still know him. His daughter is grown big now. When I went to India this time, I spent a lot of time with them. So he was, and she's very happy that I'm a convert now. She said, oh my God, I'm so happy. And she was telling me that, her father's bought an apartment for them, has sent the daughter to England to study, their daughter, helped them with in every manner, and they're happy now. And that time, the marriage was only possible because of the wedding. Their nikah was only possible because of my father.
Also, your this girl, she converted to Islam then?
Yes, her name is Aisha now.
Oh, Aisha. Her name was Mamuni. You said Mamuni?
Mamuni.
Mamuni. And she converted to Islam and then she married Sajid.
Yes,
Oh, subhanallah. So
she
you
she
have other people in your family that also reverted to Islam.
yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Alhamdulillah. And then her Mamuni's dad, Aisha's dad was fine with the marriage later on, you said.
Oh yes, yes. He's more closer to the son-in-law than his own son.
Oh, subhanallah. You know how
Subhanallah.
tides change, how Allah guides
Yes,
people. Um, so,
yes.
Zainab, you mentioned a little bit about this person in America who kind of helped you when you were interested in Islam. Are there other people who also, you were in touch with?
In the US, yes, plenty of friends.
Like your
I
university
I have.
journey. I want to learn more about you because the seeds were already planted in you, when you were young
Yes,
and in your teen
yes.
years and then in your college years. But then what started happening, as an adult, and what were some of the influences, and how did you finally make that decision?
The thing is, my husband, his I think majority of his friends are all Muslims from Pakistan, from India, from I think he has friends from Dubai. So they're all mostly Muslims. He has mostly Muslim friends. So his Muslim friends now, that's one thing that makes me a little sad. Some of his friends somehow don't accept the fact that I have reverted to Islam,
Hmm.
which is why I sometimes get a little upset. But there are others who have helped me, who have talked to me, taught me. One of them, she's my Facebook friend. There's Rushana. There is Shagufta. All these are all those friends who still talk to me, send me messages. They ask me. When we fast, during Ramzan, they are the ones who are sometimes guiding me, and stuff like that, inviting me over so that I at least don't get deprived of, of being Muslim, because I live in a family of all Hindus. I mean, here my husband's sisters come. He still does this thing in the morning, and with incense sticks and his idol worship, he's doing it. He does it every day. So it's difficult. Now I pray in the other room. He's here, so we're like two different people, basically two different people. I have been making duas. I've been asking Allah to help me with him so that he understands, and he knows Allah. He doesn't disrespect Allah, because he knows he cannot take it. I just lose it. So there's no disrespect, but he definitely doesn't join hands with me to pray. I sometimes tell him, sit and do the dua with me. You just sit. I just tell him, just do the salah. Just get on your knees. Sometimes when he has trouble, I tell him, come pray to Allah with me. You'll see it. Your Allah will listen to you. He listens. If you cry, He listens. I've tried many ways, being softer, harder, whichever way. It looks like I don't know if I can down the lane. Allah has done so much for me. I'm sure I have hope there too.
Inshallah. Zainab, I wanted to ask you about wearing the hijab. You have mentioned something about your husband not happy with it. Could you talk more about it?
Yeah, sure. Um, you see, I feel like I'm letting down Allah by not wearing the hijab, because my heart is wanting to do that. I want to wear the hijab. I want I want to walk out and tell the world I'm a Muslim. These things I'm not able to do because I have my husband's relatives living around where I live, and my husband is often very conscious of me wearing anything out of what he has always seen me in.
Okay, so Zainab, I wanted to ask you about your son. You made a prayer in that masjid that Allah gives you children. And subhanallah, in your second marriage, alhamdulillah, mashallah, your prayer was answered and you got a son. Uh, and your son also reverted to Islam. Can you just tell me a little bit briefly about his journey? And then he ultimately married a Muslim girl. Can you just tell a little bit about that?
Okay. My son, I used to talk to him about Allah from the time I reverted. I talked to him a lot. I would anything he did, anything he wanted from, like, I wish, Mom, I would get this. I get a chance in this college, or do this or do that. I would always say, pray, make duas to Allah. So he must have been a confused child too, because he's seeing his father doing something else and mother doing something else. But I always kept going at him, because my husband never talks about religion to him. So I do. So I talk about Allah. So I would tell him these things. And so as he grew up listening to me, he had several friends at school also. He also had several Muslim friends in school who he sometimes saw them praying, stayed with them overnight, or visited the masjid with them once or twice, ate. Like that age, it's like, oh, Mom, I'm going to get biryani. Everybody loves biryani. So, Mom, I'm getting biryani, so I'm going with Abdul to so and so place. I'm going with so and so to so and so's house. So, a lot of those friends were either, Muslims because they're Egyptians, or, you know, from the Islamic side of the. So then, as he uh, finished his college and everything, then he fell in love with a Muslim girl.
Awesome.
And I was very grateful, because before that he did have a couple of girlfriends, but I was always very worried as to, finally, where is my. I would always tell Allah to take care of him. Always. I would always say, he's you gave him to me. So this comes from you. This child is a gift from you. So I prayed to you. You gave me my son, and you make sure he's with you. He's listening to
MashaAllah,
you.
MashaAllah. And
Yes. I always.
Mashallah, he reverted to Islam
Hmm.
actually 2 years ago, and mashallah, he married a Muslim girl. Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
So, Zainab, now my next question is regarding some of the obstacles you have faced. Like, what are the obstacles you have faced, and what are
Several.
your suggestions? How could those obstacles be removed? In your reversion
Yes.
journey.
Yes, like I told you, some of my husband's friends, they're from Pakistan. Every time I would go to any of their Eid, celebrations or any of their celebrations, I would want to talk about, stuff that things that I've missed learning or learn more about Islam. They would not encourage me. Instead, one of their wives, his friends' wives, would tell me to tell her stories. She said, I used to be very attracted. I had neighbors in Pakistan and close to our house. We had neighbors who were Hindus and they used to do all these rituals in their house. And, they would wear all these chudi, chudiya and all these things, flowers in their hair. I'd like to know more about your Hindu religion, even in spite of me trying to tell her that I am not a Hindu anymore.
Hmm.
I'm a revert. In spite of that, it looked like every time I talked to her about Islam, she just didn't like that idea.
Hmm.
So even to the extent that my son married a Muslim girl is something I haven't been able to make them understand. So those are the things that hurt my feelings sometimes. Hindus are obviously going to go against me, and
Hmm.
that's a known fact, right? But I
Hmm.
haven't had so many Hindus telling me that if I've told my relatives, my son's wife is a Muslim girl,
Hmm.
they would not. They would be, oh, very nice, very nice, So what? I mean, it's like that with my relatives or friends,
Hmm.
but. These people, they are different. For them it's like as if I'm not allowed to follow Islam, as if
Hmm.
I'm not allowed to be a revert.
Hmm.
So I don't understand that part really. I wish they would tell me why, but they don't. And similarly, they have more friends there, like Shagufta I was mentioning to you,
Hmm.
and Naila. There are others who are so sweet.
Hmm.
They would talk to me. They would say, if you need anything, you want to know anything about how we, like during Rosa, if you want to know anything during, your fastings or anything you want to do special fast. Sometimes I want to know, can I do a special fast? Like I'm sick, so I can't, can't fully take part in the Ramzan because I cannot fast every day. I have so much medications and stuff to take. But sometimes I would tell them, help me. When can I, certain things like that. They would help me. But there's another part of this same group who just don't accept.
Yeah. So there's, I guess, negative and positive people, but it's the positive people who make the deen of Allah, attractive to other people. And it's kind of
Yes.
interesting that, um, like the people that you saw growing up, they were coming to your home, and if they had not come to your home, you wouldn't have been exposed to them. So a way the way the deen of Allah is spread is also because we are interacting with other people and other people see you. So, um, so living in this multi-diverse environment is actually helpful for
Mm.
getting us to know each other. Also, so I wanted to find out from you, what is the message you would give to Hindus, like Hindus who are considering joining Islam? What is the message you will tell them?
To be patient, you know. Um, I mean, I think I had to keep a lot of patience and to pray. They shouldn't feel like, sometimes I feel some people feel there's a force, or people make them feel it's a force. Like, there are certain friends in the Hindu community who will say, oh, you're being forced to revert, or you're being forced to believe, you're being forced to do all this. Why are you fasting? I mean, you don't need to do everything. You're being forced, someone's forcing you. So these things, they shouldn't listen to anyone. They should only listen to Allah. And if you can give yourself up totally, and with respect to what you want to follow. You should read more books about this. You should, sometimes compare both the traditions and see. Make yourself sure. Don't respect any religion after accepting it and then listening to people who make you weak, because there are people who try to make me weak, but I try to read scholarly articles, and and then even consider my own experiences as a child and everything. I brought all of that into my life and I started to think about it, and if I kept walking on the similar path. I just didn't want to go here, there, anywhere. I'm on this path. No matter how many mistakes I make, no matter where I fall, I will still continue. if it,
MashaAllah.
if the love and understanding is there for the faith, I think we should just keep going.
Mashallah, mashallah. And your case is a very interesting situation because they always bring up this issue of force. When Muslim women are forced. Like if I'm wearing the niqab, somebody must be forcing me. So for
Yes.
you to have a Hindu husband currently and still carrying on the path of Islam, doing your salah, doing your zakat, and carrying
Mm-hmm.
on Siratul Mustaqim is the perfect testament to the fact that it's you who is making these decisions. Nobody is forcing you.
No, nobody is forcing me.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to even. I mean, it comes from inside, Anila. It's not something that can be dropped on someone.
Mhm.
And if someone's doing that, then someone's doing a double job here. It's
Yeah.
not supposed to be like this.
Yeah.
We just have to be consistent in what we love, who we love. I
Mhm.
love Allah. To me, Allah is the beginning and the end of my life and everything. So I'm sorry, but that's the way I feel. If there is no Allah, there is no me. That's how I feel. I feel scared. I feel scared to move away from Him. I like to be close to Islam. I like to be close to Him. And Allah knows that.
Subhanallah. MashaAllah. May,
SubhanAllah.
may Allah keep your.
Sorry.
We're going to do a dua as we wrap up. So may Allah ease up your affairs, everything related to your
Yes.
religion
Make it easy for me. Yes.
and your health. We'll pray for your health that you're going through a tough time. So
Yes.
Allah ease your affairs regarding your health, your religion, your relationship with your husband. You're living in the society that you're living in, and may Allah make it easy for you. And may Allah guide everyone who is considering Islam and joining this beautiful deen. May Allah make it easy for them. And may these words that you shared with us be a source of constant hidayah for all the people who listen to it. And may they be guided perfectly by Allah to Siratul Mustaqim. Ameen, summa ameen.
Ameen.
Ameen, summa ameen.
Jazakallah.
Bye.
Thank you so much. It was so nice talking.
Yeah, it
My
was so
heart.
nice talking to you, Zainab. I would like to thank you for coming to this program and sharing your words of wisdom, sharing your journey to Islam. So I'm so excited to be doing
I
this.
hope I'm able to help you in your first
Yeah,
endeavor.
so this was my first interview that I'm doing. I'm just slowly starting on this journey, and you're my first person that I talked to, and I'm just so excited to know you as a friend, and I love you
Me too. I love you too.
for the sake of Allah, and inshallah we will talk later. Okay? Okay,
Yeah, sure, sure. Bye bye.
okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes. Jazakallah.
Bye.
Allah Hafiz.